Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. Daniel Francis is the host of the inaugural First Caribbean Author Conference and Author Village, a home for authors, aspiring authors, and writers. Now, we get to host him to find out the rationale behind this initiative and what he hopes to achieve. Greetings, Daniel. How are you do, sir?
I am excellent, excellent. Good day. Thanks for having me on.
Definitely our pleasure. Now, if this village and this event is the answer, what is the question?
The question is, how do you fill the gaps that aspiring authors and even some published authors are experiencing when they publish their books?
And the fact that you have two publications already, what are some of the things that you have as in your experience? Because sometimes people have anecdotal experience, they hear from somebody. What were some of those things that you wish that someone was able to kind of guide you through, take you across, tell you, hey, look out for this, it coming. What are some of those things?
Oh, I have so many. I mean, I think really and truly the conference is built off of these different things that I struggled with both my books. So, for example, one major thing I wish I had was an author community, just a group of authors that I could ask questions, ask for mentorship, get some of that key niche information that you need as an aspiring author that can really make a huge difference when you put your book out there. I feel like I would have gotten information. I did courses, read books, but what was tough to find was specific information on being an author in the Caribbean, because as I would have lived in the first book, it's different, right? You have to look up at like little subtle differences. For example, I would have put my book on Amazon. Amazon isn't necessarily the best. I mean, you should put your book on there, but not everyone can purchase their book on Amazon. So one of the key things I would have learned is having an easy way that individuals can get your book locally, for example. And I think a major thing too is just like when your book is out, having that access to ways that you can promote your book or sell your book, right? So this is one of the main reasons why I have Author Village running as well.
And I find it interesting you talk about the nuance of being an author in the Caribbean. But when you speak of community, and I'm thinking of community of practice, how do you choose that? Because I can see there being individuals who are from a slightly different generation, era, dispensation, mindset, saying that you need to publish your book this way. When you write it, this is the type of person that you want to go to, versus versus self-publishing. What was that process like in terms of weeding out and getting some gems and nuggets from individuals and finding things out on your own?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being super honest, when I created the Caribbean Author Village, I just created an environment. It's just a platform. It's just for persons to chat, because we do it on WhatsApp and Facebook. And what you would immediately find is that a lot of the issues that many of the authors thought that they were going through alone, a lot of the other authors were going through it as well. So you find that, so for example, very simple, when you get paid on Amazon. I remember when I first created the group, there's always someone who knew that is added that asks, hey, how do I get paid by Amazon? And just jumping in and giving you options. But no one is saying, hey, this is the hard and fast rule. There's always a statement that this is what I did. But of course, when you're in a community such as that, everyone can give their 2 cents based on what someone says. But you'll find that some things are very baseline. But even though it's baseline, doesn't mean that's general knowledge, or that you have all that access to all that information in, let's say, one place. So I think the group does a really good job of doing that. Even though I focus on self-publishing, I still give information on traditional publishing. I still add all types of authors, kids' books, self-help, nonfiction, novels, poetry, everything. So that when someone has a question that's not surrounding, let's say, my expertise, I don't need to worry. Someone in the group will answer it, because the goal isn't to have everyone self-publish. The goal is really to inform. With as much information as you have, then you can make a better decision on, okay, self-publishing is better for me, traditional publishing is better for me, or whatsoever it is.
And looking at that ability to say, okay, well, I don't necessarily need to answer every call, because that population, it's almost as though you're building it out so that there are different ports for this storm. Do you find it easier to give suggestions for one genre versus another, or do you look at it as publishing in traditional versus self-publishing? How do you go about making some of those boundaries, if those boundaries exist to you at all?
Yeah. No, I mean, like you said, it becomes its own ecosystem. I will see people having conversations, answering and asking questions all on their own. Obviously, I even have publishers in the group, which is crazy because I mean, I own a publishing company and would have created a group using my publishing company. But even when they ask, I tell them, listen, this is not, I'm not here to gatekeep. It's meant to be its own system. It's meant to be its own platform. People are just meant to get value from it. I'm not here to say that anybody needs to publish through me or you or whatever. We're just here to get information and resources, and you take it from there. Which is why you need to have all these different types of individuals within the group so that persons have access to all the different types of information. So I don't necessarily need to answer everything because again, I know what my niche is. I have a general understanding of everything, but to say that I have written a poetry book or kids book, I haven't been there. But there are individuals in there who have published multiple books, so they can really give that key insight that that individual would need.
We have about 2 minutes before we take the break, but I find it funny. Is it almost a matter of himself told himself sometimes, looking at someone who's self-published, then moving on to having a publishing company? What is that like? Because I see you smiling as well. So is that something that you find a little ironic from time to time? How do you navigate that?
I would say it's ironic. It was just a natural evolution. You know, I put out my first book. I said I was going to sell 1,000 books in the first year. I was able to do it in the first 6 months, which is crazy because it was during the heights of the pandemic. And what ended up happening, which of course I could have never guessed, would be authors reaching out to me every week, like, hey, I have questions on this and this and this and this. And I couldn't answer everyone because then I'll just be answering questions all day. So I started doing free webinars to educate aspiring authors on my journey, what I would have learned, what I wish I knew before I started. And I did that for like 2 years, right? And it just got to a point where people were like, hey, can you publish on my behalf? Obviously, I didn't have a company at that time, but I saw that there was a gap. So I decided to fill it. And One Momentum Publishing would have been born as a result. So it was like a natural evolution based on what was happening, based on gaps in the market.
All right, so not a gap, but we're going to take a small pause. We're speaking with Daniel Francis, and there are a few things we're going to be speaking about well, but stay with us. You'll find out more about it when we return. Welcome back. We are speaking with Daniel Francis, CEO, founder, publishing and marketing maven. And if we look at the fact that World Book Day is on the 23rd, what are some of those things that you hope kind of rise to the surface of focused on during that day and after, Daniel?
Yeah, just apologies to people to bring them out of their house on a Tuesday because it's 23rd of April. World Book Day is a Tuesday, but I just could not pass up that specifically. And it's actually World Book Day and World Copyright Day. So I thought it fit perfect within the information that we shared with any conference. The goal of the conference is really that when you come, let's say as an aspiring author, you get all the information, or even the introductory information that you need to put your book out there, all in one place. Not only that, you'll have resources, access to those resources, because most authors, they might just focus on the writing, and then they don't really know what happens next. They don't think about, well, who edits it, where do I get the book cover done, how do I publish, right? So the goal is to really meet persons where they're at, whether they want to learn about it themselves, whether they want to read a book and kind of use that as a guide, or whether they want to come to me so that I publish on their behalf, right? And then for published authors, it just serves as a way to fill the gaps of information that they did not know that they may not have known. And then just to foster a sense of community and networking, because a part of the event, there will be networking. Authors don't often get into a space where they can meet in a large space and, you know, just really kind of bond. Because again, I think there's a merit to having this one Caribbean community kind of breaking the boundaries between territories.
And looking at that fact you're talking about Caribbean, how far does this go? Because saying Caribbean is one thing, but how is it open? is it a hybrid event to be a little more inclusive to individuals from different jurisdictions? What is that like?
Right. So the event is from 4 to 10, but from 4 to 7, we're doing the Caribbean Author Village, which is free to the public. And what we have is that we have specific authors who have booked a space. I provided the space for them free, and they can basically promote and sell their books at the Central Bank Auditorium right before the conference starts. For those authors who are not in Trinidad or can't make it, we've sent them a sheet so that they can sign up and send their books virtually. So what we'll do is we'll have those books running on the screen so that there is still a level of all access to those who can't be here. We'll also be doing virtual tickets for those who would like to view the event because it will be streamed. And also we have some panelists. We have one Jamaica, this will be coming on. And I think for me, this is only the first one. So the goal is to try our best, see how much impact that we can have, so that we can just make the next one better. Maybe go to other Caribbean islands and do them in Jamaica or Barbados or Guyana, right? Because I have this personal mission about really trying to connect all the Caribbean authors.
And do you have a definition for aspiring author? And I say that because there's some individuals who they have a story on their heart and they walk around with it and is developing and they haven't started to write it as yet. Then there's some people who do a little bit every day, just doodling. They're not sure when it's going to be finished. And there's some who saying, okay, well, yeah, this is really what I want to do. And they are able to make that disruption, however they earn their livelihood, to be able to do that. It takes all forms, I guess, but is there a target specific that you are going for in this first one?
This first one is really for, again, there's a large bracket when it comes to aspiring. I think the aspiring author who has a book idea but doesn't even know where to start writing, this is for you. For that author who started writing and keeps starting and stopping, this is also for you. Give me some tips on how you can stay consistent. This is for the author who's written a book manuscript. They just have it there. Maybe they've even had it there for years, and they just don't know the process of what happens next, or they're not trusting to those out there who might facilitate the service for them, or they just don't have enough knowledge to do it themselves. This is also for them. So we're trying to meet those aspiring authors on all the different levels.
When you say book approaches, what do you mean? Because I see that there will be the launch of your latest book approaches that will take place at the conference as well. Read and spell that for me now.
Oh, the book. All right. So, we have the book village at the beginning. Then we have the conference portion from 7 to 8:30, where we go through the information and we have the panel discussions. And then I'll also be launching my book, How to Write and Self-Publish as an Aspiring Caribbean Author. And basically the topics within the book echo the themes in the conference, so that everyone that pays to attend the conference will get a copy of the book to go home with. So if it is that they need the information, they have it all in one place. Or if they have an author, or aspiring author, blogger, anyone within that realm who they think could get value from this, they're free to pass it along to them. The goal here is to create more information that is easily accessible so that we can nurture our authors and create a rich literal culture for the Caribbean.
And it's interesting sometimes because I think the way that we speak is so musical. It lends itself to the written word. But for some reason, we don't necessarily always feel the need to make that jump. I don't know if this is something that you share, but if so, what do you think some of those reasons might be?
I think we tend to look outside. We see the international market and we think, okay, there's no space for our way of doing things, our way of writing. I think it's very important that we understand that our voice is unique. I personally believe that there's a book in everyone. I think that no matter the genre, if it's similar to another book, your book will have your unique personality and your unique fingerprint within it. And of course, that will come with your experiences here, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Jamaica, St. Lucia, whatever island or territory you are in. And I think once the world starts seeing more and more that content outside, they like different. And I think it can have even greater impact as we nurture more aspiring authors and help even published authors to just keep on putting out more books. I think that access and interest as well will grow.
And of course, I want to ask, how did you get your first book out? You said everyone has a book in them. So yes, I want to get contact information, how people can register, but I also want to know what kind of led to your first book being articulated and presented where people could access it, as opposed to just you walking around with it.
Yeah. I think for me, it was, I was a leadership development coach, coaching young people for about 3 years at a time. And I simply just asked, how could I help more persons without being present in front of them? And that would have given me the idea for the book, started writing, put it out there, everything. And through the process of putting it out there, I said, put the book on Amazon. I thought that was the only way. People wouldn't really purchase it on Amazon because it's hard, the access is tough. There's a short, small credit card penetration here. Of course, I think over time it will change, but it showed me that I need to meet my prospective buyer where they're at, because they can want a book today and lose interest tomorrow. So I have to be able to say between them saying they want to get a book and them getting it in 1 to 3 days. So that looked like me doing deliveries of the book initially, getting individuals to hire them to do deliveries, putting the book on marketplaces, right? There were just so many different access points on how you could get the book that, depending on the person, it should be able to satisfy them. And I think that's why we were able, with the course of my 2 books, sell 2,500 plus copies over the past few years.
All right, so registration, how do people get more information to be part of World Book Day at, the author conference?
Right, so you can go to ompublishing.org. We have sign up information for those who would like to join the Author Village, to get information if you'd like to purchase a ticket, or even if you'd like to come virtually, you can get the ticket there as well. We are on all social media, so searching One Momentum Publishing or OM Publishing. You can reach out to us via call or even WhatsApp. You can direct message us. We're very active on there, so we'll reply as soon as we can. We also have a number here. Let's pull it up. So it's 495-2964. The number again is 495-2964. So you can call or WhatsApp if you'd like to get more information, whether it be services, whether it be joining the community, coming on as in the Author Village on the day, or if you'd like to attend the event itself.
All right, and last but not least, Daniel, I think it's really important to give shine to say that there's someone helping to carry this on, someone is helping to sponsor the event. It means that someone is taking or making an investment in the vision that they see as you lay it out. How important is it that you have someone who's helping? Because I see TTRS being a part of it. So talk to me a little bit about the significance of that just before we close, please.
Yeah, I think, when I reached out to them, I wasn't expecting. Of course I wanted them to come on as sponsors, but I think their sponsorship has been a great help to making all of this happen. I think we'll even be putting up a code for those who want to get to Central Bank Auditorium on the day easily. And it's like these types of sponsorships that help us to create bigger and better things. So I know that they'll get the value from their resources into this. And we even have smaller partners like Office Authority who would have helped us through some of the problems with the event as well. Scribbles and Quill, all these different partners and sponsors who are really helping to make this a well-rounded event.
And with that, we want to thank you very much, Daniel Francis, CEO, founder, publishing and marketing Maven, First Caribbean Author Conference and Author Village at the Central Bank Auditorium on World Book Day, Tuesday, the 23rd of April. And on behalf of the entire TTT News team, this has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. Thank you so much for joining us.